welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who is currently chugging a chug-a-lug. It's John Levingood.
Some big, overly sugary thing. Why is it always the skinny people who are drinking all those sugary drinks? And then, like, we big people, well, like me big people, are always drinking Diet
waters.
Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something with no calories.
I just love the little play on words there. Chug. It's just so obvious, but every time I see chug-a-e-h, lug, I just laugh.
Chug-a?
It's just so, obvious, but I love it. It's one of those things where if I came up with that, I would have patted myself on the back.
I never noticed it.
Really?
I never knew. I just saw the chug.
Yeah, so below it, chug a lug. So when you go when they go into the convenience store, A to Z, and then you go into looking at the thing, they had it featured so strong.
I somehow missed that.
Yeah, it just cracks me up, man. But this movie. So, John, thank you so much for coming on here and talking about Tusk with me. I've wanted to talk about this movie for years, and I'm glad that you finally settled down and you're ready to talk about this on the podcast. So,
yeah, but you've always loved this movie, and I initially didn't. And now I like it more, but I'm still not, I don't know how to put it. I'm a fan of the movie now, but I don't necessarily like the movie.
I love it. And I'll always be tied with it because, so in our current house, when I went to go watch it in the theaters, and that's the day we got our loan approved to purchase our house. So
Tusk is your lucky movie.
Yeah, I'll always be tied with Tusk in that regards. Now, we're going to jump all over the place here. So obviously this is directed by Kevin Smith, and they kind of were reading this ad based in England about a guy who wanted someone to live in their house rent-free, but they had to dress up as a walrus for 2 hours a day. And they started riffing on it on the Smodcast, and less than a year later, they were filming it. 15 days in North Carolina, then they moved on to an LA unit. But what I love so much about this movie, John, is it's about a guy getting turned into a werewolf, a walrus. It's as advertised, it's weird, and when you notice Kevin Smith talking about this film, he calls it a dopey little movie. But I think Kevin Smith put everything he had into this. I thought it looked great. The Walrus by Robert Kurtzman, of KMB, he brought in the guy who worked on From Dusk Till Dawn, Evil Dead 2, Nose 5, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, People Under the Stairs, Ticks, New Nightmare, Spawn, Boogie Nights, Faculty, Simple Plan, 13 Ghosts, Bubba Hotep, Shark Lake, A Cabin Fever, Tremors, Predator. The Walrus costumes, I think, look really great. The cinematographer, I don't know if you know this, but he moved on, James Laxton, he moved on to shoot Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk, and he has an Academy Award nomination. I think Moonlight's just a beautiful looking film. He shot the crap out of it. Looks great. He also did Bad Milo about the butt baby that kills
the
things.
Butt demon.
And then the production designer also worked on Strangers. He did a ton of TV. The guy knows how to work on a budget. When you work in TV, you know how to move fast. But
do you mean the movie The Strangers? The movie?
Yeah, The Strangers, yeah.
Okay.
And so I thought the production design in this was really good. I love the shots in this film. Kevin Smith wasn't happy just to make a flat-looking film. There was a lot of camera movement. I think they really, on a technical level, I think this might be this is his best-looking movie. And I guess let's jump into it right now. We sent out things on Facebook and Twitter, and a lot of people responded, John. We got more than normal, the amount of people.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of likes, a lot of comments. Someone even shared with us some Tusk artwork they did. A lot of people talked about the movie. A lot of actually really fun questions. But the biggest divisiveness, and with our friends also, with Billy Crash and Johnny Numb of the Last Knock podcast, incredibly smart dudes, know exactly what they're talking about. And I think the same with you is, you guys were all in the beginning of the movie, and then it sort of fell off for you, correct?
For me, yeah, especially, yeah.
And then I know Johnny Numb said the same thing, and then also Billy Crash did that as well. But for some reason, I love... All right, okay, so did you watch the Walrus Yes documentary?
Yes.
Yeah, cool, awesome. And then they also did this interview where he talks for 30 minutes about how he got Johnny Depp for this movie. He originally wanted Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino said no. So he picked up Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp said yes. He showed up. Johnny Depp did his own makeup, had pretty much say in everything he did. But that scene where he's eating the burgers and he's talking about this killer and how he's killed 23 people and how he hunted them. And I love the scene where Michael Parks is talking about spiders because he uses brown recluses later. For some reason, I like Gila Point. I think I'm the only human being on the planet who does. I just think it's weird. And that's why I love it. It's Johnny Depp being weird again. And I give movies points for just being weird. Does that make sense?
That's fine. And in general, I'd agree. But again, Depp just rubbed me very much the wrong way in this.
I mean, he definitely had creative control to kind of do what he wanted. But I just thought it was, I don't know, I kind of dug the way, his just eating, the way they were talking, the camera work of the scene. And I don't know, I like that he was hunting down Michael Parks and the story he told about the hockey player. And I like that really weird interaction he had with Michael Parks. Parks wanted him to go inside so the villain wanted him to go inside his cabin, like Howard, probably to kill him, right?
See, I think that was like a half and half. I think he was just being a totally innocent, nondescript guy. He's like, oh yeah, you can go inside and take a look if you want, but like those people who seem unsuspicious, like you never do.
Yeah.
So, but if he did, then he would just dispatch him inside. But I think he expected that the inspector would not go.
Yeah, you're right. I like that scene. I like when he writes that thing down on the paper and they're like, that's from Big Lebowski. He's like, that's where I learned it. And I don't know what's his driving rituals. I kind of like the detective work. And Kevin Smith said no one would care about this movie, or people wouldn't care about this movie if it was just Justin Long and Michael Parks in a room. He said they needed an outside force trying to save him to add tension. Do you agree with that?
I think so. Part of me does love a good, well-executed chamber thriller, but they're just inherently tough. And I think that when they do work, it's a talented filmmaker who was forced to do it because of budgetary constraints. If you're not forced to do it, why do it?
Yeah. And so I guess, he had Michael Parks, who wasn't even acting at the time, so he dragged him back from Red State. And he only had him for a finite number of days. So I guess he wanted to add in, something different, someone looking for him. But I don't know, man. I like that. It's just so weird, John. It's like when that scene happened to me, I was alone in the theater. No one went to watch it. And I was just sitting there going, I love this. Because I just hadn't seen something so weird in a long time. And that's kind of why I dug it.
So I saw this in theaters, and my high school friend, who I occasionally catch a movie with over in St. Petersburg, she looked at me with this face like, look what you chose that I had to sit through. And remember, we both loved it at the beginning. I want to be clear. The whole first act, I loved. I was in love with these characters, their character dynamics, the writing, how lived in and congenial and sincerely natural they felt. I liked the things they talked about. I didn't feel like anything was forced or written to be clever. This just felt like when we're having fun on a podcast now. They felt like real people being funny, talking about things they really cared about. And they felt like real friends. So that was all awesome. Justin Long, Wallace, that is, going to Canada, going through the customs agent, that whole interaction was outstanding at the bars. If I just saw the first 30 minutes of this movie and said, John, what do you think? I'm like, how many stars can I give it? That's my answer. But then again, it started to degenerate a bit for me. I did like the whole middle of it. It's really the last 10 to 20 minutes that I fall more into a specific dislike.
Was it the walrus fight? Were you not a fan of?
See, the things now, mixed feelings, right? Because I love zany things, and that scene is batshit crazy, and I like
yes,
and I like batshit crazy things, right? Dude, the guy has turned you into a walrus against your will. You are stitched into this horrifying suit. He has installed tusks into your upper jaw. Like, this is sick, right? And he is now wearing a suit, looking you in the eye with a straight face, giving you a lecture about primal walrusism. And there's a nature show on in the background of this is, so I can celebrate that. But then when I reflect on that in the movie, that felt too batshit for this movie for me. If that makes sense. It's like, am I watching Army of Darkness or am I watching The Shining? Because I felt like I got an Army of Darkness zany scene put into The Shining there. You know what I mean? So I love the scene, but it felt very displaced to me. I don't feel like it's crazy. And I do remember people can say, like, John, this movie's crazy. Don't you get it? It gets crazier and crazier. But even that withstanding, for me, it didn't fit in hindsight.
I kind of just love how it added another wrinkle to Michael Park's villain in that, so not only was he trying to rebuild a walrus, and he had been doing this for some time, but then he wanted to fight the walrus every year to give himself like a chance, to give the walrus a chance at redemption. But then when Justin Long's walrus character becomes too walrusy for him, he kind of is like, all right, I'm out of here. He's like, you've gone full walrus. You've gone full animal. Like he was going to leave.
I like the phrase full walrus, by the way.
And then he gets stabbed in the foot. And then he gets stabbed. Oh, I love that walrus. Yes, they showed how all the blood worked from those tubings. I thought that was a lot of fun. But then he just starts stabbing him in the chest, and blood just starts flying everywhere. And that's when Teddy and Genesis run in, or Haley Joel Osment and Genesis Rodriguez run in, Allie and Teddy. And he just looks at him, and it's just, and at the end he cries. Oh man, this movie.
So if we didn't have Teddy and Allie and the inspector coming to save him at that time, if that was removed, just the timing that they were happening at the same time, right? You're going one shot to the next back and forth. I don't think I would have been bothered by the scene at all. I think at that point I would have bought the batshit level. But again, I think that when you throw in the silliness of their rescue mission with the music that they were playing for their rescue mission and Johnny Depp's ludicrous character, again, fumbling around with his gun while he's trying to keep up with them trying to save him. That's really, so if you remove that happening parallel to the walrus fight, I don't think I all of a sudden have a problem with the walrus fight, but it altered the tone for me. It shifted it in a weird direction for me. And then it kept doing that with the whole Teddy and Allie and our walrus Wallace at the end. That's another thing where the ending is this weird, twisted, all pseudo slapstick, but straight face deadpan scene. But in the greater movie, for me, I found it hard to swallow. And I was left feeling like, what the crap did Kevin Smith just do? That he really did that. Like, I don't know how I feel about it.
That's why I want Moose Jaws, because I heard that Justin Long's walrus character is going to make a reappearance in Moose Jaws if he ever makes it.
Is this a real movie that might happen?
So Kevin Smith went into Tusk, right? And I'm not saying it wasn't a massive success in theaters. I mean, this movie had a tiny budget, under $5 million, shot really quickly, but it sold and it made money enough to go make Yoga Hosers. But then Yoga Hosers died a very quick death, and then the plans for Moose Jaws were scrapped. So Moose Jaws is essentially Jaws, but with a moose.
And it's the third of a weird trilogy.
And all, it would have taken not a View Askew universe, it would have taken a Great North universe. Everything would have met together in that film.
So you said this had a $5 million budget?
Yeah.
So I'll say, no matter what my overall feelings are of Tusk, right? I'm impressed that he made it. I'm happy that he made it, even if I'm not thrilled with the movie. I loved a lot of aspects of it, but I didn't know what its budget was. When you tell me it was just $5 million, I am now yet more impressed and appreciative of this piece of art, if you will, even if it's not the art that I want to hang over my mantle.
Oh, wait, $3 million. I apologize.
Super impressed.
Yeah.
Super impressed.
So, I mean, they shot this for 15 days, North Carolina. That's a nothing shoot. I mean, that's considering a lot of movies are about the 60-day range. And, if it's Marvel, it's probably 85. So $3 million, dude. So, like, I don't know, between the production design, the crew he had, I don't know. That's what I love about it. And that's why I love that he did the documentary Walrus Yes, which we both liked. I kind of liked how I want to show it to my students. They're going to be like, Mark, you're weird. But what I like most about it is it really does show the 15-day life on set. It shows the kind of mundane times. It shows the crew interacting. There's nothing glorified. What did you think about that documentary, Walrus?
It was very different from what I normally expect from like a making of or behind the scenes, because I felt like you said, like you get the feel of a 15-day shoot. That's just it. I got the feelings of things. I don't think that I learned a lot about the movie. I think that I learned a lot about how the cast and crew felt about the movie. and the making of it. And not that there were things that I needed to learn about the movie, but like, again, it was a different angle. This was more personable. This was more congenial. This was less expository.
Yeah, I just like that for once you actually get to see the crew actually doing work that crews do. On so many movies that you watch, and granted they're movies, you watch the behind, like, so on Wes Craven's New Nightmare, they're, in the beginning, obviously it's meant to be a farce, but they're filming insert shots and close-ups of Freddy, but the camera's 30 feet away. And it doesn't even have a giant lens on. So you're kind of thinking, that's not, obviously it's a movie, right? There's so many things that I can get over, but I've always hated behind the scenes, like movies about movies, because the footage would never turn out good. But obviously it does in that world. So that's why I felt comfortable with this, just watching the mundane aspects of it, because that's how much set life is for me. But I guess for an outsider who's looking for something else, I guess it's not as thrilling.
This seemed to be a neat setup. Could you tell me the way that they set up Walrus Yes, which you guys, I don't know if we said it yet. That's on YouTube if anyone wants to go find that, the whole thing. But so Kevin Smith basically just had his buddy, Jason Mewes, on the set with the camera, and they planned on doing this making of thing the whole time. It's not like they were just taking little clips of, that didn't make it on screen, or when they just kept rolling, I should say. They had him there as his friend, just filming all this stuff, filming stuff actively. Does that really happen much, Mark, with films? Does it? Okay.
So there's EPK on a lot of film sets, and so that's a lot of the behind the scenes. And then on every set you have a set photographer. So EPK is all the behind the scenes interviews. So you got an actor, like, so we'll be working on a TV show for a pilot, or a show gets picked up to series. An actor will do a scene, and you walk him down to the second floor or something like that. And then he does the interview, like, what do you think about the show? My character is a former Marine who became a cop, who became a robot. And it's just loaded with heart. And I'm a single dad, and I got to have a relationship, like talking like that kind of stuff.
Were you just talking about RoboCop or something?
Yeah. And it's just very, but it's very formal, and I don't like watching EPK. I really don't. And it's kind of behind the scenes, because this is people talking about, oh, this movie's amazing. Like, I liked knowing that Kevin's, like, that. So in the beginning, during the Tech Scout, there's a lot of jokes about Tech Scouts where it's just a bunch of groups of people talking, and Kevin Smith didn't even want to be there. And it's just, it's what a Tech Scout looks like, which made me really happy. And then he fell through the set, Kevin Smith did, the Walrus tank set, because it shows how flimsy some of these sets can be. That made me happy. I don't know, just actors complaining about the food. Like, hey, we're working over, and so they had second dinner, which means their day went really long, and they're like, we're going to be eating cabbage in tiny rooms. It's just, you watch those guys who did the special effects with the squibs on the doors. They look like, these are all the guys you work with, all the people. I don't know, man. But yeah, so there are things like this. This is rare to have Jason Mewes running around like that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess there aren't many like this one, but there are a lot of behind the scenes filmings, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. See, I didn't even realize that. I figured that when you had that being done, it was because it was for, the $200-300 million movie, and they're like, $5 million of the budget is just to have this for the, the DVD extra or something. Yeah, but I didn't necessarily expect that for like the normal scale movie, for the non-mega movie. I didn't expect that.
And what I like, Kevin Smith does these behind the scenes. So he podcasted about this movie while he was making it, and then he filmed the behind the scenes footage and kind of showcase that, just to maybe show people that you could do this. This is how it happens. This is my first day. And I like how on the first day of filming, right, Kevin Smith looked very chipper and happy, but then the fifth day he just looked exhausted and ready to die. Like, that's what set life is, man. Monday you're still tired because you didn't get much of a weekend. But then on Friday, you just look gross, and you're just trying to survive. And then you come back Monday, and then you're just, that following Friday, you're tired again. So I like that evolution of this on there. And I like that Kevin Smith is like, I'm late again, which I thought was pretty funny. And he likes to edit, though, so I dig that. I don't know. You know what's interesting? On the commentary for this, the one scene I didn't really like in this movie was when Genesis Rodriguez, or Allie, does that long monologue to Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote that like the night before because he just liked Genesis Rodriguez and wanted to give her more to do. And
I didn't like that scene either.
Yeah, and it feels very out of place, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, she's fine. She does a good job. But he just wrote that because he's like, I want to give her more to do. So that's why that scene does not fit in the film.
Nope.
But I kind of like that about Smith, though. You learn the bumps and bruises of his production. and why he does each thing, and I kind of dig that about him. I like the transparency. But I also liked, Kurtzman he was really praising Kurtzman, though. Did that make you happy, Robert Kurtzman?
Yeah, he was really appreciative of that guy. Every time he walked by, it's like, look at this guy. This guy's like a god among men. So that was pretty cool.
When you're making a $3 million movie, you got to make those compliments because these people are not working for a lot of money.
Are they just agree? Is everyone just agreeing to take way less than their quote, or would someone like Kurtzman be operating more on some kind of a union pricing?
Well, he's a co-owner of KMB, so I feel like and North Carolina is not necessarily a union state. Yeah, there is IATSE, for sure. You have to be part of a union, but I wouldn't say it's as stringent in as New York or California in this movie. But for $3 million, I think people must have accepted it. I mean, but if you think about it, so let's say Justin Long and Haley Joel Osment and Genesis Rodriguez took it for scale. I mean, they're still only on the set for 10 days. So they're still making a bunch of money, and they got a movie coming out that's pretty crazy. So I'm sure a lot of people took scale. The crew was small. There wasn't much prep in the film, and the house that they used, they didn't have to build. The only build they had was they kept calling it something in Walrus, yes. The pool area. I mean, that was probably the biggest expenditure they had of the entire set to build that. Oh,
there was like the tennis club or something.
Yeah, they kept calling it something, but I forgot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I also liked, the beginning shot about how they're only going to get one exterior of the house, so they want it to be awesome. So they have that cool crane shot there. That cost them money. I'm sure the walrus shot cost them a lot of money. I bet they were happy to get rid of that crane. I guess this movie just comes down to the producer and the line producer breaking down each day and figuring out how much crew is needed to fit that budget. And then Kevin Smith paid $200,000 for the additional photography with Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, I still can't get over that role. Like
Do you have a point?
I did not enjoy any. It was fun watching him eat, but I the whole time I'm watching him eat, every time I've seen the movie, I'm just like, why is Johnny Depp wearing that ridiculous nose prosthesis? And what is with this? But watching him eat was funny. Don't get me wrong. And this accent, and I don't know, like I was equal parts entertained and aggravated.
Kevin Smith showed up and didn't know what he was doing. Because, I mean, when Johnny Depp agrees to do your movie, you can't really. So, it's funny. He got a verbal yes from Kevin Smith. And one of the producers of the film was like, okay, cool, we'll send paperwork to Depp's people. And Kevin Smith was like, no, don't do that. He's like, once his representation learns that he's doing a stupid R-rated walrus movie, they're going to tell him no. So they kept it under wraps. And then when he showed up working scale for the production, you can't really be like, hey, Johnny, can you not wear that prosthetic nose? So you're kind of stuck with that.
So Johnny Depp was making like, what, $2,000 a day?
Yeah, probably SAG minimum, whatever that is. I mean, he's making $50 million for Pirates, so I think he just did it out of fun, right?
Basically, yeah, this is like a pro bono at that point.
But isn't that crazy though? Like, I don't know. Did you know that Johnny Depp was in this when you watched it for the first time?
Well, I actually knew ahead of time. I found out, social media ruined it or something. I don't remember.
Got it. I don't even remember that either. So weird.
I remember though, he was on screen. He was on screen for no joke, like 2 full minutes before I had looked at the person with the movie with me. And I would be like, is that? And then she said, yeah, that's Johnny Depp. I'm like, that's not Johnny Depp. She's like, that's it. Like, damn. Like, so it was so out there because I can't do it. Whatever. The whole voice that he was doing, and he's talking the lines through the food that apparently he's really eating on screen.
Yeah, knocking that back. So how was he able to afford such luxurious places but he's also traveling across Canada while he owns this manor, correct?
I mean, does he own it? There's a question. Does he really own it?
Because his knickknacks are all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, but I wonder how much of his place. That's true. Yeah, it is well decorated. And Justin Long asked to see the restroom. He wouldn't have necessarily predicted that. Yeah, there's a lot of. You're right. Because part of me was thinking like this was just a previous victim's home, and maybe his previous victim was someone who was affluent and under the radar and didn't have a family, so it would take a long time to kind of catch up that they were dead or missing. But no, you make a good point. It's so well decorated. He must just be that rich eccentric who's doing this batshit shit.
Who built that pool for him?
The indoor
Yeah.
dungeon
Walrus alcove.
habitat.
Yeah. That's in his house.
He probably went to the zoo and he was like, oh, who built this? Do you have the information for those contractors? I want to do a grotto for my pool. And they're like, yeah, whatever, dude, we're happy to share with you who this contractor is. And then like he just has the contractor sign some kind of non-disclosure agreement.
Slaps him a
He
couple
could have told him he was an
10 grand
exotic
extra.
animal collector. I don't know.
Yeah, slap him a few extra bucks.
I guess. But yeah, that was elaborate. I mean, you know from film production, indoor water is expensive.
Yeah, that's... I mean, then you got to deal with the electricity and setting all that up. It was a good-looking set they built. And the projectors the projectors were a good idea to save money.
Unlike a pool, though, or like an actual terrarium, that thing did not have filtration. Remember, that was just stagnant with dead dudes at the bottom.
Yeah, that was weird. Why do you leave the dead people in there?
That probably made it a lot more affordable.
Yeah,
more
that's true.
affordable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. He
That
just
probably
left...
had the budget. You didn't have to plumb through the walls or anything.
Yeah, he just left those dead bodies in there. That was gross.
Yeah, that was sick. That was macabre. And just poor Justin Long can't swim because he's in this suit and he's seeing that under the water. It's like you're literally seeing what you're about to be if you don't get your walrus ass up out of the water.
And then he went full walrus.
He went full walrus, which is such a funny term because I always think of Robert Downey Jr. saying full retard.
Oh, yeah, you never go to. Oh, man. But Long pulled it off, too, though. I thought Long was really solid in this movie. I like him a lot.
He did an outstanding job.
I mean, just, he went... All right, so I guess we should start in the beginning. He is a podcaster of a podcast called... Wait, I'm going to spell it out because you don't want to say it first. The NOTSEE Party, the Not-See Party. And basically where he's just a massive jerk who goes and does things and then tells his buddy Teddy, who just laughs at a lot of his stuff. And he's successful, right? I mean, we had a question from Cinema Recall, and so their question was... Let me look this up real quick. Cinema Recall asks... Of course, I can't find it.
And Cinema Recall is another podcast, by the way, chiming in.
A very good podcast, read by some old friends of ours, the Vern. I don't know if you guys... But look it up. Video Vanguard, I think that's him. And then also... Cinema Recall. But here is the question. How the hell did Justin Long's character make a career with his podcast? It wasn't that good to begin with. How could he afford a trip on just ad spots alone? Looking forward to your thoughts. Also, shameless plug on our short episode. So Cinema Recall also talks about Tusk on their podcast. But, I mean, 2014, right? This is when Nerdist was in full effect. This is when Mark Maron was in full effect. And so he's also doing live shows. I mean... Listen, podcasts were big in 2014, but it sounds like he had been on this podcast for several years before that, right?
Well, I got the idea, or not I got the feeling that they had gone what I'll call air quotes professional, where they are solely doing this for their job for years. And there was some line at some point, I don't remember what it was, that made it sound like when we fill in the blank here, basically transitioned to going pro. So they were probably doing this together for years as buddies, and then they've been doing this as professionals. In 2014, if you had a podcast for 5 or 7 years by then, you were probably around since podcasts became even remotely mainstream thing.
Yeah, if you think about it, so I used to listen to the Ricky Gervais podcast when I lived in Korea. That was about 2008, and they did the Freak podcasts that were absolutely massive. They just did like 6 episodes. And then, the second series, but they didn't do it every week. But that was gigantic. And then you had Nerdist come around, then you had Mark Maron, Kevin Smith, and a few, I'm missing other people. But yeah, if they were early adopters, they have a lot of listeners.
And I think so. Yeah. Like they could have been doing this for a decade. What if they were doing this since 2004?
And so the ad revenue that they're making, I'm sure they could afford by then. Like they obviously were, right?
Well, it's basically just a plane ticket.
Yeah, and he was complaining about how he couldn't really afford it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he might have been looking at, like $700 trip, a flight, couple nights in a cheap hotel. That's right, because he was just going to turn around, but then once he found this guy, it's like, well, I'm just going to stay at his place for a couple nights and hear his stories.
Mm-hmm. Now, he was going to fly out there to deal with the sword kid who cut his leg off. Jeez Louise.
Wonderful video.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that caught me off guard. I laughed so hard. But he was going to go out there, but he was going to make fun of him, right? Like, what I know, like, his girlfriend didn't want him to do it because he used to be a sensitive guy who cried. You know, he cried when he said he loved her the first time. And then so why would he make fun of the kid at the interview?
So it seemed to me that his discussion with his girlfriend was more like she was accusing him of making fun of him, and it seems like he was defending it. It's like, no, honey, I'm just going to be interviewing him, and everyone's just going to love his answers, and he's not even going to realize that it's making fun of him because he takes it seriously, kind of thing. I think that's what's going on here. Like, I don't think he intended to directly mock him in interview. I think it was like, so tell me again what the aliens did to you, sir. You know, and then, someone tells you about their alien abduction and everyone listening just giggles. And so, I think that was just the vibe I kind of got. It wasn't so clear cut.
And then he was big enough to have Oprah be chosen over Oprah.
I didn't really get the context of that. But did this kid really choose to have him come fly to Canada to interview him instead of the kid getting flown to wherever Oprah films?
Maybe he was hot at the time, so he figured, hey, I'll go on this guy's show.
Oh, you know what? Wait, because the dude in the YouTube video who cut off his own leg, he was like a 20-something. He probably just relates better to his 30-some-year-old podcaster.
The Nazi party?
The Nazi party, right.
And then he shows up and the kid had killed himself, and Justin Long's annoyed, not that the guy is dead, but that the fact that he flew out to Canada for nothing.
Well, why? To be fair, if the kid's like, yeah, come interview me, you'd think the kid would be excited about it. That is not the time to get somber and self-loathing.
Do you think Justin Long's almost the perfect person to cast? Because he can be super unlikable, but then he's not. It's a weird thing with Justin Long. Like, he's a jerk, but then you're also kind of like, I like this guy just because it's Justin Long. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but at the same time, he was like a deliciously despicable character. He was despicable in a way that I enjoy watching. I don't know how to put it, but maybe that's because we never really see him doing the things that got his girlfriend to say how much he changed for the worst. We're just seeing him, his drive, a little self-interest here, of course. Well, a lot of self-interest, but his drive for the podcast, his drive for the success of it. We never get to see him really doing his job. And maybe if we did, we wouldn't like him.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because she seems to be reacting to how he treats the subjects of his show.
Got it. What do you think about his interaction with the Colleens at the Quick Stop?
That's another one of those scenes where I half liked it and half disliked it. He was being a deliciously despicable dude, and it's the girl characters. Those two actresses, like, I feel like 50% of their time I really liked their one-liner, and the other 50% of the time I didn't like their reactions.
Yeah, that was Johnny Depp's daughter and Kevin Smith's daughter. Harley Quinn Smith and Lily Depp Rose.
Right. This is prequeling their yoga hosers, right?
Yeah, because they got famous from that, and then in yoga hosers, and then they battle like Nazi sausages.
Such a weird movie.
The demons and more Johnny Depp. I guess I kind of like their droll. Like but I guess I really like Justin Long's delivery in a couple of those scenes. Just the way he talked to him. I kind of dug that.
Yeah, very dismissive. Very short with them.
I think the way he got to that guy's house felt pretty organic, right? He probably didn't consider the fact that he was driving out to the middle of nowhere. He needed a scoop. He didn't want to waste his money. So I guess it felt like an organic way to get him to that house.
Yeah.
I mean, when you read that, you're like, oh, I get it. That's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so how about this? Let's take a break, and when we get back, we'll talk about Michael Parks and a dude being sewn into a walrus. Sound good?
Done.
Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and I learned something about you, John, on the break, and that you are a serial killer.
Uh-oh. Does it have to do with my cereal eating habits?
Yes. What a bad joke in this movie. I like it. It's a groaner. Like that.
It is a groaner. It's very dad jokish.
Like the stoner who ate all the cereal at the A to Z.
Yeah.
Now listen, we have a ton of questions here, so let's knock out these questions and then we'll get into the walrus bit. How's that sound?
All right.
So Adam Hodgins, who is a frequent contributor, a guest on the podcast, he's been on a whole bunch of Icebreaker, Peter Rabbit. Yeah, there's a ton of episodes. Cliffhanger. But so he asked us a question and he put, does this make you want to visit Canada more? Yeah.
I'd say there's not enough data. All I have is a very friendly customs agent. Otherwise, I don't really know anything about Canada from this movie.
Now, I've worked in Toronto. I love that. So, I mean, shoot, I'll go back any day of the week. I mean, I'm just not going to go to anyone's home in the middle of nowhere who wants me to dress up as a walrus twice a week or twice a day, once a day for 2 hours.
I mean, I don't know if that's a trend of Canada. If that's a trend of Canada, then I don't want to go to Canada.
Well, I guess that would be normal then, right? I mean, how big is the house?
That's
how
a
many
big
roommates
house.
are there? Right? If there's 8 people in the house and they're each, so 24, like, so when he's awake, let's say he's awake 16 hours out of the day. You have 8 people living there. So all 8 people are dressing up for 2 hours a day. So then
It's a weird household, Mark.
But then you know that there are, like, other people there, right? And there's been other people who were there before, and they're like, oh, yeah, I got enough money to get my own apartment. It was a good time. Would you do it if you knew that it was totally normal, beautiful house, just 2 hours a day?
There's nothing totally normal about this.
But you could watch a movie. You could just hang out, watch a movie.
I guess there is the appeal that, yeah, like, you don't have to work much.
And he's not going to shovel you full of fish. Like, you don't have to eat raw fish. You just got to go "Rrr, rrr," occasionally.
I mean, it's pretty weird, but I guess, like, if I didn't have, like, a good job, maybe I'd have to be all over that.
I mean, let's say you live in a big city and you're saving $1,500 a month on rent.
Oh, that's right, man. I could go down on a house. You're starting to make this sound more appealing.
All right.
I'm not lying. You're making this sound more appealing.
I mean, I still wouldn't do it.
If you have student loans, this is the way to go. Then you can make double payments, get that. Everyone's like, I'm doing the minimum payment. Dude, you're going to pay 8 times your student loans if you do that. You got to go live as a walrus for 2 hours a day, knock out those student loan payments, get your credit in order. Yeah, I see it.
If I owed a guy named Vinny money, I'll just say, listen, I'm going to go into this house. I'm going to live as a walrus. I don't have to pay rent. That means I get you an extra $1,000 a month. I'll pay my debts. And then Vinny's like, I like it. I'm still charging you interest.
But Vinny's going to go overboard with it. He's going to be like, well, if that's true, I'm just going to kidnap you and drop you in the zoo, and what are you going to pay me off in 2 days?
Wait, you can either get all the money in a year or none of the money in 2 days.
But he's saying that if you were a walrus 24/7 in the zoo, he'd get paid even faster. I'm going to take you to the zoo. I'm going to drop you in there with the walruses. You're going to pay me off 12 times faster.
And then I'm going to shake down the ticket box. And then all the people up front then the zoo's got to give me money because I got a walrus here.
Yeah, those penguins owe me 2 points on the big.
He just starts dressing people up in a little animal, like, animal onesies and throwing them in the zoo.
He keeps, like, checking his bank account. He's like, why isn't this going up?
Why aren't you making me money?
I knew I shouldn't trust the internets.
Yeah. All right, Adam's next question is this the best walrus movie?
Okay, so I wrote down that question, as I wrote down all the questions before I did my research, and my answer to that question is a question mark. It's like, I looked up, I didn't find any. There's a movie called Walrus that has nothing to do with walruses that I'm aware. And then when I even did like walruses and cartoons, all the answers that came up, I'm like, there was a walrus in that? Like, I got nothing.
It's like a 51st Dates walrus. Like, that's not a movie about walruses, but it features a walrus.
Okay, well, at least you just named another movie with a walrus, so.
This movie is like, yeah, I mean, all right. It's not about a walrus, but it's centered around walruses, so it has to be.
Well, okay, so there is not an actual walrus in the movie, but the movie is in fact about a walrus. It's about the walrus that our antagonists had a very intimate interaction with, being stranded and
6 months.
Yeah,
with Mr. Tusk.
So I mean, it's about a walrus. It's just not starring a walrus.
So I would say it's the best movie that talks a lot about walruses. What do you think?
It's a shame there wasn't a walrus that I recall in The Lighthouse.
I feel like it'd be easier to just capture a walrus than to be a serial killer and build that tank.
Well, I mean, walruses are very heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's transporting this walrus. You're not just bonking it on the head and dragging it home.
I mean, he has enough money to travel the country kidnapping people than sewing them together. Right?
People are a lot easier to transport in the trunk of a car.
Get a baby walrus.
Get a baby and then raise it.
Yeah, right. What do you think?
That would be easier. That would be easy. Is he getting this baby walrus from an area where there are baby walruses, and thus he might be attacked by parent full-size walruses in the process?
Just sprinting from them. No, black market.
I want to see this short film.
So basically, he gets a hold of a zoo, and they're having these walruses mate, and one of the walruses mate, and they have a baby. But then somehow that baby disappears because Vinny got him. And then Vinny delivers it to Michael Parks.
Because Vinny was like the vet tech at the zoo, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, that's easier than killing 23 people.
This is much more credible. But on that note, I now feel like I want to see an anthology movie that explores little vignettes like this idea here.
What if?
Well, but only what ifs that spring off of discussion from the movie Tusk, though.
Oh, I could write.
See what I mean? So like, this is one of them. It's like, this would be a prequel to if he did it with a real walrus, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I want to see the 6 months he's hanging out with the walrus.
Right there. That can be one of them, right?
This should be a new Disney Plus TV show.
A new Disney, and maybe like there's a one that kind of montages all of his early failures with the people who ended up dead at the bottom of that tank. But maybe it's like it's more of a character piece where you're, instead of just like all the people dying in the tank, you see something that went horribly wrong throughout the process leading up to that with each of a few different people on one of the vignettes.
Oh, do you think he was married? Do you think he was married twice?
I think that he got divorced because she's like, you just spend too much time with those walruses.
Yeah. And she apparently farted a lot.
Right. She farted a lot.
I love his flatulence gags in this.
Yeah, that caught me off guard. But I'm like, okay, he's a kooky old guy. I'm cool with that.
Wet your whistle, you dry little thistle.
That was weird. When he said that, though, that felt almost perverse.
Yeah. He made it work, though, right?
He said a lot of things that were like, it really was on the cusp. It was like, is that perverse or is he just so weird?
Yeah,
right?
Does he say I'm a naughty boy?
Yes, he did. Oh, I'm a naughty boy. Yeah, he says some weird things. Yeah.
And he has that weird stuff in his bathroom?
Yes.
So does he want another walrus, or is he just a serial killer?
What if that's just kind of like, I'm going Mindhunters now, right? Like that show Mindhunters. What if this is really his fixation, right? This is his sexual deviance that is kind of like the psychological focus of his murders. But without this psychological focus, he will not gain satisfaction from the murder itself.
Yeah. So
he needs that. And what I said will really only make sense if you're really into true crime or you've seen Mindhunters or you watch a lot of movies about like psychological thriller stuff, because I don't know this stuff. I'm just regurgitating something from the show. But it's like he won't get any satisfaction from the kills unless he lives this fantasy first.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that seems to me. And I never thought of that until you just brought this question up, by the way.
Yeah. Like, right? Like, that's got to be somewhere in there. I don't know.
Because we even see when he gives the ultimatum, well, not an ultimatum, but it's kind of an ultimatum when he says, it's like, and now we will fight. And either I will kill you or you will become the walrus and you will defeat me. But if I kill you, you'll be dead. And if you kill me, then you'll be here all alone. And so he seems like he's crazy, but only when he's starting to lose does he turn into, well, hold on. This is a fantasy, not a reality for me. I'm getting the hell out of here. And then it goes bad for him.
Do you think he used to just dress them up in onesies and then they got more intricate as he went along?
They're definitely, so that's part of the reason that I want this anthology, right? Because yeah, clearly they started out simpler. Clearly he didn't reach this stitching together flesh suit of a walrus, or maybe early iterations of him just looked crappy. Maybe earlier on he wasn't as good at amputating legs and people died of secondary infections or blood loss. We see that he cut off one leg at first. Is that because he takes pleasure in the slow process, or is it because he learned that he's not good enough or doesn't have the facility, medically speaking, to take off two legs at once? It's too high risk of losing your person. He needs to then feed them, let them get their strength back, build up their blood volume again, build up their immune system again. Now we're going to take the other leg. Like, what is the – so I'm sure there are a lot of things in this process. Just imagine – if he's pulled in more than one person with this weird advertisement over urinals and a Canuck bar, like what if we saw an earlier version of him doing this little spiel, which is an act, act that
Yeah.
he had to master, where he kind of faltered on parts, or he lost his accent when he was caught off guard, and someone's like, "Whoa, hold on."
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it started to go, like, what happens in these situations? Then he kills the person, and then does he cry because he ruined it after all that preparatory work?
And has he gone crazy because he used to get rid of the bodies? Now he just keeps them gunking up a pool.
Or is it just because he currently has this resource? Maybe he just didn't have this resource before of that indoor habitat. Is that habitat new because he just thought to put it in years ago? Or is the habitat new because he's not really rich and he only came across this house at some point? Like, what is going on? At some point, did he capture someone and did he pull a Pain and Gain and have someone sign all their stuff to him, and then they disappeared, and now he's living their life in their house for years? Like, we don't know how he came into this stuff.
Did he own that other cabin?
Maybe he did. Maybe maybe he just was always rich. Maybe he inherited it, or maybe he, again, under duress, obtained it.
Oh.
I want, see, there's another story for our anthology.
I want a True Detective type story where Johnny Depp is trying to find this killer, and it just takes place over years.
You know what would be funny? So what if you had like Gritty, the actual writer of True Detective, right? We are doing True Detective season whatever, 18, and it's the exact Johnny Depp character and the exact Matthew McConaughey character as partners.
Oh my god, trying to hunt down the walrus man.
Right, but it's those exact characters. Why are you always writing in... I don't know how to do Johnny Depp's weird voice. Why are you always writing in that ledger? He's like, I write my ledger because of whatever, because I'm Matthew McConaughey. And he's like, we should get some good poutine. And then he's like, I only eat vodka.
And doesn't he say poutine
cigarettes.
gives him the shits? Like, poutine gives me the shits. I had insane shit. Lone Star. All right.
Seems like he was drunk when he did half this.
Woo! Oh, yeah, he was definitely out there. But, I mean, hey, he showed up, right? He got this movie made. Our next question here is, all right, say this is 1988. Who would be cast in 1988?
Okay, but it's kind of like a Kevin Smith iteration of a person who wrote and directed it, right? That's how I'm thinking of it anyway. And so I think that he's going to get a rather serious actor, and he, coming off of Die Hard, is going to have Bruce Willis as the inspector.
Ooh, Bruce Willis, the inspector.
He, think Die Hard, he can be pretty sarcastic. Think Hudson Hawk, he can be a little fun and silly, right? Striking Distance. He can be kind of fun. So as my Wallace, I'm thinking Tom Cruise.
That's what I had.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Before all the ego was in his roles, because he does hysterical very well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he does like yelling crazy characters well.
Yep. And
That's great. You got Tom Cruise.
He could pull off the screaming. He could pull off the intensity. He could also pull off the smugness of new Wallace.
Right.
But then show the heart of old Wallace.
So for Teddy, I had a lot of ideas for Teddy. For his like introverted friend, I thought Michael Keaton, Kevin Spacey, Kevin Pollak.
Kevin Pollak?
Yeah, I like those guys. I think they're all good. They're all similar. So for Hal, I had again a few ideas. Leslie Nielsen.
That's who I had.
No way!
Yeah.
Were you thinking of Creepshow?
Yeah, just a very okay, the reason it works is it's just against type casting.
But no, Creepshow. It's two type for Creepshow.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess I was also thinking Naked Gun was really popular at the time.
Right,
And he had done Airplane. So yeah, Creepshow for sure. But then also the kind of, by then he had Creepshow, but he also had those comedies made. So putting him in this.
The other choices I had were Christopher Lloyd.
Oh yeah.
And wait for it, Kathy Bates.
That's who I was thinking for Misery, because that was
this movie basically is Misery meets the Human Centipede.
Yeah, dude. I almost had Kathy. I had Leslie Nielsen and Kathy Bates.
I feel badly that I stole something. Well, I accidentally scooped you, but at the same time, I think it's awesome. We had some of the same. So what's your whole rundown of yours then?
Well, so I had Tom Cruise, Leslie Nielsen. I either had Julia Roberts or Nicole Kidman
for
the Ally role.
For the girlfriend.
Yeah,
I didn't do her. Yeah.
And then I'd want.
What about Teddy?
Teddy. I was thinking Keanu Reeves because he wasn't that popular yet.
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
I don't know. I think he could do that. He's kind of a quiet guy, laughing.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I think he and Tom Cruise would have good chemistry.
Who's your inspector?
And my inspector. inspector, I don't know why I didn't do that one. So my inspector, I mean, I think you nailed it with Tom Cruise. But
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. But I'd want something weirder. So I'm gonna say Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, Sylvester Stallone using a French Canadian accent.
Oh my God. So wait, you know what's funny? So I was watching Raw Deal recently, and I said only Arnold Schwarzenegger could speak Russian in an Austrian accent. I think Sylvester Stallone would speak French with a Philadelphia accent.
Yeah.
Je le parle pour vous français. I kind of got lost.
And get back in there. That's the best. That's top 2 accents ever on the pod before.
Okay, wait. Now, so what about the Quickie Mart girls?
Oh, wow. So at the time, all right, so let's do Elizabeth Shue and what else was in 88? Who was around that time? Elizabeth Shue and
Christina Applegate.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Because they were making movies around then. They'd be really good.
I think it would be funny to go against age type a little bit and make them older and have it be Molly Ringwald is like the cashier and like the manager would be there with her, and that would be Annie Potts.
Oh, that'd be good.
I think those two both have such great flavors of attitude. Annie Potts, like specifically as Janine from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And Molly Ringwald, well, from anything. She was pretty much playing a very similar character in a lot of her roles, that kind of sarcastic, like teen role. I think those two would be great. Or the Coreys and make them dudes.
Yeah.
Basically the Frog Brothers, like a year later or so.
The Frog Brothers probably would have been in that movie. Because when was Lost Boys? 85?
85, 86?
Yeah, so that would have put them in college age or dropout age, working in a quick stop. They've seen too much, man. They can't go to college. That's funny that we
too busy following zany theories to study.
You like read my mind with a couple of these, man. No, that's funny.
I love that you went Tom Cruise. I actually just did a search because I didn't want to go just pure horror movies knowledge, and so like I just did a search for 1988 movies, and I stared at it for like 10 minutes, and I was like, oh god, and it was the cover of Rain Man that cued me in. When I think of how hysterical and frustrated he gets dealing with Dustin Hoffman, his brother in it, it's like that's my guy. But you know, he's really suave, but then he breaks down a lot.
Yeah, I like it. This is perfect. I think
I almost, by the way, I almost picked Gene Hackman, but I couldn't imagine him doing the zany side of it.
Nah, it'd be too straight. I mean, he's been in some zany movies, but he never gets zany himself.
Right.
Yeah. Was Leslie Nielsen in a walrus costume, too. Can't beat that. All right. Then we have a question from Johnny Num, our good friend Johnny Num. Which is a better performance, Michael Parks in Red State or Michael Parks in Tusk?
So I've never seen Red State. I couldn't answer that.
Oh, wow. I gotta go with Tusk because I think he pulls off the absurdity of it and the menace. And then the weird accent in his scene with Johnny Depp. I think it's a more layered, less wordy, more physical performance, and that's why I liked it.
So now for any other listeners who haven't seen Red State as well, is Red State kind of a green room-ish movie? There's like some kind of assault on some compound, and someone's the leader of the compound.
It's like
right?
a Waco.
And it's Michael Parks.
Waco-esque situation where John Goodman is storming, and then Michael Parks is the cult leader.
Okay, all right. Interesting.
I mean, I watched it. I liked it. I thought it was something different, but I like Tusk better because it's just so dang weird.
Yeah, I just caught clips of it. I think I've seen the first 20 minutes once, and then like the middle third of it once, just when I was like rolling through HBO, and then like I had to leave the house or something, and I was like, oh, I'll watch this for a little bit. I remember thinking John Goodman was like just playing straight-laced dark character in that.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, I like it. It's Kevin Smith trying something different, and I kind of dug that about him. And also, all right, yeah, I guess we'll finish the questions before I do more behind-the-scenes stuff. But Kevin Smith did think he was done after Red State, and he only made like. He's like, I'm done telling the stories because they were what I wanted to tell, like Clerks, and those are all my experiences. I'm glad that Tusk brought him back. All right, so then we have William Francis. How did you feel after you saw the laugh? It hit me hard, dude. He started crying, and I laughed.
You cried?
No.
You cried?
Justin Long was crying. I was laughing. I mean, like it hit me hard because it's a sad ending, but then you just laugh at how he munches into the fish and then the tear. I mean, it's absurd, but it's also earned, I feel.
So this is, I think I kind of gave this exact answer earlier in this episode when I said my friend and I looked at each other. It's like I felt kind of empty and hollow, mildly disturbed, mildly amused by how weird it was, and then I just had this like, what the holy crap was Kevin Smith thinking? Like a frustrated smile on my face, you know what I mean? Like I just had so much going on, and my system almost overloaded.
They put him in a zoo.
But it was the worst zoo ever, though. It was a swimming pool.
Yeah, a dirty swimming pool.
A small swimming pool with like an igloo doghouse.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, he's not going to get much exercise.
Like what happens in winter? What happens in summer? Does he overheat in summer?
That's why we got to watch Moose Jaws.
In that suit?
We need a true detective type story. We need it. We need it, John.
Dude, McConaughey and Depp playing those exact characters.
Oh, man. And Sylvester
They
Stallone.
would weird each other out so much.
All right, then we have... Chris Pettit and Thomas Coombs Jr. asked the same question. Who thinks this up and why? And this just came from a Smodcast idea where a guy took out... A prankster took out an ad in England, and then they were going to base it in England, but it was too expensive, so then they just shot a movie in North Carolina and placed it as Canada. But it just came from a very organic place. And that's kind of what made Kevin Smith start making films again, because he didn't want to force anything, because then cop-out happened. Yeah,
I like that, too. That it's almost like... It makes me think of just the sincere, real way that Carpenter came up with Nightmare on Elm Street. You had a couple unrelated things.
Or Craven.
And... I'm sorry, sorry. I just saw Prince of Darkness, and I've been talking about it for like 24 hours on Facebook. Sorry. When Wes Craven came up with that, it made me sound like an idiot.
I just didn't want people screaming in their cars.
Right. They're probably thinking like, you don't know crap about crap horror, John. Like, go stand with your face to the corner, John's Horror Corner.
1 star.
But no, like how that came from like two very unrelated things. One was a childhood memory that creeped him out, or a story from his childhood that creeped him out. The other was something that was going on with some panicked kid, I think, in Asia. These people were afraid to go to sleep. One of them finally went to sleep. They gave him something. He died. And, you put these very unrelated things together into this clever notion, and it worked so well. And then you have this. And again, this is like one of those things that, Tusk is not a movie that I recommend to people because I think it's awesome. It's like, you tired of seeing the same shit all the time? Go watch Tusk.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. That's why I love it. And I guess, I don't know. And once he gets in the house, he's really slurping that tea, by the way. Jeez Louise, what was in that tea?
Well, he was cold.
Yeah.
He was cold. He really had to pee. But you see, I think he really had to pee because he had long since finished his drink for the most part.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe he was thirsty again. If it was soda, it's diuretic.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
he used the bathroom, and then do you think Michael Parks knew Hemingway or the character?
That's an interesting story, right? Because you're already lying about so much other stuff. What's another lie? But at the same time, why lie about that?
Yeah. So maybe he was telling the truth.
Because this guy really could have some huge, rich life story.
I mean, his house is filled with his stuff, so he's been there for a while.
I mean. And his fantasy had to come from somewhere. So I want to believe he really had this experience with that walrus. He's traveled. He could have been some captain of industry.
I love that Kevin Smith also. So he was on a boat. It sank, and he slammed through the waters, got stuck with Mr. Tusk for 6 months. But I like the breakdown. He's like, a 25-foot thing slid past me. Like, so Kevin Smith even talked about Jaws because that's his favorite movie. But that was a cool story. Just talking about how the creatures were, like the sharks were eating everybody. But he slammed for his life. That was a well-told, well-written thing. I don't know if you dug that.
I get it. I was impressed. I liked his storytelling of it. But again, I liked. At this point, though, we're at a point in the movie where I pretty much loved everything.
Yeah. Go for it.
Oh no, it just all the characters really felt rich.
I love when he wakes up after being poisoned and wakes up with one leg. And so I listened to a Fantastic Fest panel with Justin Law and Kevin Smith. And they answered that during the take, Michael Parks is like, this is so stupid. Why would anybody believe that a spider bit a guy's leg came off, and then a doctor came over and his phone got smashed? And Kevin Smith is like, no, it's just who cares? But then he told Justin Long to lay heavy into the spider. So I guess there were takes where Justin Long was just making Michael Parks lose it. A spider? What? Like he just like, but the brown recluse did it, and then he was all drugged up. Oh, and he also said I'm a nasty boy. That thing. My leg is off. And then he goes, truly sorry for your loss? I mean, that's a weird scene.
Again, we're still at a point where I appreciate some zaniness, and we were still at a point where I loved almost everything in this movie. When that was happening, Justin Long's, huge reaction. But I mean, that's what you would, I can imagine this hysteria. There's no rationality. It's like, don't tell me a spider did this. No, your leg is gone. You are in a full-on potential panic.
Yeah.
The spider? Like, he's just freaking out. He's like spitting up on himself. A spider? Like, he's just going nuts.
He was so good in that scene. Oh, geez.
But like, I could, and I imagine there are a lot of people who are like, oh, that was just so overacted. It's like I don't necessarily agree with that. If I woke up missing a leg and then someone just comes along with a half-cocked smile, by the way. Mm-hmm. Right? And, there was you fell over and a little spider crawled out, and then I had to call the doctor, and of course I'm nuts right now. Like, I get it.
The doctor's doing his rounds. Rounds?
Right. Now that's where it's ridiculous, but then I'm just going with the mania of how at that point, right? He's just kind of slurping this up. He loves it. Because how would he know the doctor's schedule so intimately? It's like, oh no, we can't call him now. He'd be doing his rounds. Like, it's down the fucking hall. Sorry, I'm swearing. Yeah. Like, it's down the hall. This is putting me into full tilt mania now.
Yeah. But I love that though, right? Like, and he's like, I don't want to die in Canada.
I don't want to die in Canada.
That's a good line.
And then all the phones. No, the doctor insisted that we have all the phones removed for your recovery. And at that point, I'm just like, shouldn't you be stroking a cat and laughing maniacally right now?
He was having a good time with that, though, wasn't he, Michael? And then he slaps him in the face.
It was, and it's a ridiculous scene. But again, that was the ridiculous that fit. Because we know we're dealing with a psychopath, and now it is just starting to show. He has fully captured you, and now he can let out more of himself. Whereas before, it was just little bits like, oh, I'm a naughty boy. Like those little tidbits would slip out, right? Those slips. And now he's getting crazier.
And then he gets Wallace into the full costume. It's weird that he sews his arms like a T-Rex. Like, that's a pretty good explanation. That's crazy. And then he gives him a mackerel.
Yep.
And Mr. Tusk starts eating. And that's a cool shot in the porthole, though. The way they frame that. I thought that was some good camera work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. This is and then we get the fight scene, and we've talked about it. And then once he starts losing, he's like, I'm out of here.
Yep. I'm just a naked guy on the run now.
And then, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just happy to talk about. I just had to get a lot of this stuff off my chest because I would never recommend this movie to many people, so you don't get to talk about it much. Maybe Horror Hounds, I would recommend it to.
There's so many times that I've said, it's almost become a generic statement at this point for us, right? It's like, you know what? Like, if you're an adventurous film goer, give it a try. But when I say that for this, I really mean it. Like, if you're like, I'd say that almost in the same sense. Like, I would tell someone, if you're adventurous, try the Human Centipede. You want to see something very cavalier.
Someone asked, would you rather be in the Human Centipede or in the walrus costume?
Walrus costume.
Yeah.
I don't even need to think about that. Some people will be like, well, hold on. Am I in the front of the Human Centipede? No, it doesn't matter. Because if someone's mouth is sewed to my butthole, life is so horrible.
What if you know you're going to be rescued? Your body, you have no legs left.
You say that, but don't forget, in the Human Centipede, he did permanent damage to the tendons in their knees. Oh, yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
So he perhaps permanently hobbled them.
Yeah.
You might be every bit as overall functional, missing both of your lower legs after your arms are recovered. But again, they're both horrible fates. But when I just think the moral response to the term ass to mouth, is something about, like, you can never look at your co-victim again in the eye.
Yeah, and I guess you don't ever have if you're a walrus, you don't have to eat poop.
Right. I mean, raw fish, Tom Hanks Castaway. It's like, I get it, dude. You ate some raw fish before you made fire. I understand.
Could Wallace have ever swam as the walrus?
I don't think so. I don't think that would have worked. And here's the other thing. Were he to succeed, he would rip those stitches in his arms so badly he'd bleed to death.
Yeah.
And then the pain would keep him from functioning anyway. Right?
So he just made him to kind of kill him.
I think so. Like, I don't think that could have possibly worked. And also, you think of swimming in clothes, now make it worse, right? Because it's this big, heavy cask that you can move around inside of. But, like, even if he got his arms free, think about swimming in clothes and how that's harder. Now imagine this big, heavy cask of a walrus suit. You can move around a lot in there, just inside there. I think that's just a drowning machine.
Yeah, it's definitely a drowning machine. He was sitting there for 3 hours at a time. And when he got out, he said he was so sweaty and juicy that he felt bad for whoever taking him out. Because he's like, the musk would hit this person, their face. He's like, even when they tried to be poker faced, they couldn't. They'd just be like, ugh. He said he had some weird juices going on in that thing.
Can you imagine, like you're just some, underpaid PA helping him out of there, and Justin's like, oh, sorry. He's like, no, sir, it's nothing. And then they're trying to help him out, and he's so slippery that it's like trying to pick up an eel out of the water.
Oh man! So all right, how long had it take to capture and kill those 3 people that are in his tank?
I mean, yeah, that's an interest. How long was this process, right? Because Justin Long Wallace, he was turned into a walrus over the course of under a week.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because they got worried about him for a few days, and then they went after him.
Because, night 1, he loses a leg. A day later, his arms or the next day, his arms, I believe, are being sewn in. Whether or not it's still day 2 or day 3, the other leg is going to be removed, and the tusks are being implanted. And after a couple days of no contact, I think it was 2 days, I don't remember in the movie, I think it was 2 days after he was basically taken, that they were up there looking for him. Right?
Yeah.
This was days. This was a fast time frame. But then the recruitment process of victims, that's where the time is, right? Is he sitting around for months? Does he have postings like this in 100 different places? Wallace had to drive 4 hours to get there. So, are there hundreds of these things out there so that he gets one phone call a month, and then out of those 1 phone calls a month, maybe 1 every 6 people actually shows up to the house, and maybe only 1 in 2 of those people gets captured? Again, I need the anthology to tell me how this works. Mark, are you going to write fan fiction about Tusk?
Well, I want this True Detective. I think True Detective season 4 should be about the journey.
But that could be one of the stories. You could actually publish a book called 61 Stories About Tusk. I don't know why 61 is. I was trying to think of a number that made sense, but it wouldn't be 2 for the Tusks. I don't know. 25 stories for 25 feet of walrus. I don't know. You could do that. You could be the guy.
You know what? No one will ever do it. I got the market cornered.
You could be the guy. I'd read it. I'd buy it. That's 1 copy sold.
All right. So after I self-publish, I'll just need to sell about 5,000 more.
4,999 more.
Yeah, you're right.
See, you got to think big picture. I'm already helping.
All right. I sold 1 copy.
Yeah.
I won't be in that great. Put it out on Reddit. We got the chapters. We want to see it. Any final thoughts about this movie before we get out of here?
Again, I did not love this movie, but I love that this movie was made. It's hard for me to recommend this movie, but I still want to find people to recommend it to, whether or not I think they'll truly like it. I think most real adventurous film people who like different stuff, I think they're going to like that they saw it even if they didn't like it.
I love it. Watch it.
And Mark loves it.
Send me ideas for the 25 for 25. Oh, man, that's a good idea. Hey, before we get out of here, think you could recreate the Sylvester Stallone French-Canadian accent?
Parlez-vous français? Je m'appelle cheesesteak.
That was awesome. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for John, Mad Dog Lovingood, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.